Save Our Kids is an opportunity for you to be introduced to a few school and student helpers. If there is a space or a place to improve the lives of our children, we know a few families and business owners who have made it their business to answer the call for help and provide a solution to those challenges that impact our children and eventually us all. We could not just choose one kiddo to save, so we are asking for your help to reach more. Join Keeping Your Kids Safe as we identify some of the problems and share a few solutions that have been created just for you.
Woohoo! Hello, hello. Hello, ladies. Hello, friends. How are you today?
Doing
Great,
very
thank you.
well.
Okay, so the start of the year, a lot of things start to happen. I'm very, very, very thankful that you two have decided to come and spend some time with me today. And be the first ones for I guess what we're considering season 2 and of Save Our Kids. So thank you very much for being here. Man, this is a little bit tough, just a little bit, but
You're doing beautifully well.
just getting started. Yeah. So okay, so the reason why Save Our Kids was actually created was because I learned and figured out that I was meeting so many different people who were very, very focused on education, community, and the students. And for that reason, I didn't really want to continue to hear, we didn't know that problem existed, or we didn't know that solution was available. So by doing this, it actually allows each of us to identify a challenge that we see in our respective schools, and to identify a solution that the school, the community, and the family can potentially take with them and take an actionable item, take something actionable from it and be able to apply it to their lives, right? And then the whole entire goal is to improve the child development and how they receive information, utilize it, and how we can help them on the opposite side of education. Because 18 years, we only got 18 years as parents, so the rest of it's for the others. So I always like to start by saying thank you, thank you, thank you for being teachers and parents and community members. Thank you for doing the hard work and the heavy lifting in a lot of cases. So what I will do is I will go ahead and do a round table. And so it allows everybody here to go ahead and introduce themselves, tell me who you are, what you do, and who you're serving. And then that way we can kind of get started there. And then I'll come in with the stats and the information that we're going to start to talk about today. Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Christine.
It'll be fun. Okay. So Doc, I know, I love this. Look, I get to see, I get to play, not play, but I get to have great conversations with the really, really smart people in education. So this is always fun. So we're going to start with you, Doctor. So let's go this
Hello,
way.
everyone. Lovely to be here. Thank you, Tabata, for having me. It's such a joy. And Christine, lovely to meet you. I am a parent-teen coach and a youth behavior change specialist. My demographic is between 10 to 26 and parents. My company is called Gen Z and You. As you can see, it's Gen Z is the Generation Z, the kids of today, and you is anybody who works with the kids. That could be a parent, that could be in the workforce, that could be a teacher, or that could be a friend, anybody who is associated with the Gen Z. I work with Gen Zs on concepts such as attitude, mindset, compassion, gratitude, thinking out of the box, dreaming big, and various such concepts, which make them into complete holistic individuals. I have 3 components to my coaching. One is one-to-one coaching. The second is group coaching, which is being launched on January 16th through a workshop called Setting Boundaries for Teens. And the third component is keynote and workshops. And I speak in schools and colleges and organize workshops on various different topics, primarily for teenagers or high schoolers going into college or college students. That's a little bit about me.
I got to unmute. I love that. And I love the fact that there's a lot of different parent coaches and things that I have had the pleasure of engaging with. And the beautiful thing about this is that you are focused on one section, but that doesn't mean that's the only section you can focus on. And that also means that you have the ability to actually work with other people who fill in all the gaps. Because I'm so glad we're doing this, because I have to say, there were I just wrote a blog about some of this,
I want to read it.
we don't know everything, right? And it's really important for us to in order for us to fill in where we don't always have all of the answers. So I love this. So I'm excited to talk to you today.
Yes, it's super exciting to be here. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to learning from both of you.
Yes. All right, Christine, you're next.
Well, thank you, Tabitha, for having me. Save Our Kids is really dear to my heart. And I faced many challenges in my life, but with hindsight, it's always, 2020 hindsight's always nice. Stress was a huge issue, how I perceive things, and, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the way we're brought up has a huge effect on who we are. So after teaching almost 30 years, I 2017 crashed and battled chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, major depression, PTSD, and the diagnoses just kept adding up. So by early 2019, I would have been put on sick leave for life. So I chose to, instead of giving up and not being able to do much, to change my life around and find the solutions that work for me. So the solutions that I provide to parents and educators is to help manage the daily stressors today's children face with tips, tricks, and techniques. So I'm super excited to be here. And if we have time, I might share a few things with you.
This is funny. First of all, Christine.
Yeah, Christine.
Okay, so I know it's hard sometimes to actually, that's why I like to ask these questions. Christine, all these Christines, Kristens, and Chris's is killing me. But my name is pronounced Tabitha. I have all the A's, right?
Tabitha?
Tabitha.
Thank you, Tabitha, for telling me.
Thank you for telling me, because I pronounced it all wrong. So Tabitha,
it's all good.
You.
So this is all learning. This is how we do it, right? So I'm excited to talk to you because, first of all, I didn't realize you were a teacher. Whoa, man, we got lots to talk about. I have not a clue why my video decided to do what it's doing. But anyway, so we have lots to talk about. I'm so happy to see you. All right, so for all those who have been following me for the last year, my name is Tabitha Barron, and I am the founder of Keeping Your Kids Safe. I decided to create that platform because of an incident that happened to our family with my 5-year-old niece being dropped off 5 miles away from where she's expected to be. At the end of the day, it's not the mistake that causes the problem. It is actually the actions, the response of the incident that actually causes the frustration and a disconnect from parent 2, from parent 1. So we'll jump in here. So again, always thank you for teachers, administrators, principals, all those people who are doing all of the good work that we cannot necessarily do. I like to say thank you. But I also like to say thank you to the parents, and hang in there. There are options and choices, and we're going to review some of them because there's a lot of things coming down the pike. But before we can ever create anything, we have to understand what we're creating and why we're creating it, because that is the part that we have to get over, right? So last year I was spinning out a lot of stats. I'll only give you a couple of them today because we're going to step into a conversation. It's not political, but it is about a policy that is coming down, right? Or that they're preparing for right now. So Christine, 4 million teachers across the United States and 55% in 2023 wants to quit. That's a problem. Those are metrics and stats that tell us that we have to do something different. Something's broken, something's wrong. When you have more than half of your workforce wanting to leave that industry, that is a cry for help. How we answer that cry for help is going to make the difference as to whether we're going to be seen as a partner or, or definitely as the wrong person to engage, right? When we look at it, 37% can't read on grade level. To make that bring that to true numbers so you can touch it, feel it, and understand, that's 13 million children out of 49.4 million children as of 2021. Okay, so you're saying third of your group cannot read on grade level. And I want to be very clear. When we talk about reading on grade level, I am not just talking about reading. I'm talking about math, because it turns out that the math and the reading skill set is actually tied in as one. So that means if they are looking at your reading skills, your math skills are right there with it. So 37% not being able to read means 37% possibly cannot count and do math, and money is a problem. You want to know why there are people that may not have a lot of that may have a little bit problems with counting money or managing their money? Part of that is going to come from the math scores, right? Not possibly in this conversation, but we really do need to address already. We're at the 9th day of the month, and I haven't looked in the last couple of days, but we have had 3 school shootings and 1 actually, and that is telling us something, right? That's another example. So when we look at it, 4,300 children are killed by gun violence. I think that's a year. So we got to be very clear about what we're doing. If we don't resolve some of these problems, they will come back as a result to what we put in. If we put garbage in, we will get garbage out. When we don't do the right things at the beginning, we will get wrong things at the end. So it is up to us, the ones who are setting the standard and things like that, to actually make that difference. The last thing I will tell you again is 49.4 million students in the fall of 2020 and fall of 2021 was the enrollment. It is projected to drop to 46.9 million by the fall of 2031. Now, when I spoke to Laura Lynn, Dr. LL, last week, she informed me 7 million children are not in school. And so I didn't know that, and I was kind of shocked by that number, but not surprised, right? Shock is different from surprise. I was shocked by the number, but I was not surprised, because again, that is a response to what we have put into that, right? And so we have to look at it that way. And here we go. 180 school days, friends, 1,260 hours your children will spend with parent number 2. That is school. Compared to your 2,080 hours you spend at a 40-hour per week job. Now, I have not met one person that 40 hours every single week, so depending on what position you're in, that's more or less, right? But that does not count the additional hours of travel and things like that. So your children are spending a lot of time away from you. So if you can say 2,080 hours you're spending away from your child, that's what they are spending away from you, plus your travel time. That means that parent number 2, you got to figure out how to co-parent, because parent number 2 is spending more time with your child than you're spending with your child. And that is the problem for me, because I feel like we need to work together. So I'll bring everybody up so we can all be on the same page. And so I'll ask you both. Christine, if you could answer first. What is one challenge that you've seen in the past that caused you to say there has to be a change made that is still currently existing today that we can discuss here?
There are so many. I don't know where to start. The one thought that popped in when you talked about kids don't spend more time with the teacher. So I'm in Canada, and I've always taught in Canada. And it was in my first year's teaching. So in the early 90s, I had a student within a month call me mom, a 10-year-old. Like, that's not normal, is it? But the parent had 2 hours of drive to do before and after work. So that they were not, spending enough time with their kids. So that the time, but also how we teach. I mean, I did not end up in stress leave, burnout, etc., with all these disease diagnoses and stuff, because I was zen in the environment I was working in. And when we as a teacher are not zen, what do we give the kids?
Right.
What do we intrinsically teach the kids or unconsciously teach the kids? Right? Stress about this, stress about that. Got to get this done. Got to get that done. And the children learn so much from us. You know, children need 6 things. They need to feel seen, heard, valued, loved, safe, contributing member of society. But they need to feel that. I was a parent, right? My kids are 24 and 30 today.
Oh.
But when they were younger and at home and I was teaching, did they feel loved by me all the time? Did they feel seen by me? Actually, no. My son can tell you that he felt I saw the other kids in my class better than I saw him, right? Because I was so job focused, and when I was at home, it was like, oh, hurry up, we got to do this. Hurry up, we got to do that. And I didn't know how to self-regulate myself so that I could be present. Sometimes that 1 minute of total present time we give a child is worth so much more than just running around busy with our heads cut off like a chicken, running around like a chicken with a head cut off, you know?
Right.
So how does your child feel? Does your child feel loved, seen, heard, valued as a contributing member? And I missed one, but anyway, you get the point. Does your child feel that way?
Yeah.
And that's the important part. And where are we asking our children that?
That's a really good point, because that's one of the things that for my platform is that I provide them a way to exercise their independence and be seen and heard. So for my situation, or in my for our circumstances, my niece told them, this is not my bus. And they were like, we don't care, your mom's not here, get on this bus, right? Type of a thing. And yeah, it's very, 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 it's not okay. But the thing about it was that what they didn't realize is that they impacted her for years to come. Yeah. Because at that point she stopped talking, she stopped speaking up for herself. And that's the thing I believe that we're missing, right? We're not she's not able to stick up for herself, because you ultimately said to her that what she was saying, relaying, mirroring and exercising, you just told her mom doesn't count and count for what's currently happening. And that is hard to kind of handle when it comes from a child's standpoint. And then to be an adult that witnesses it and not take responsibility for what happened or what didn't happen is not okay. So how about you, Dr. Yanadi?
I think I'm going to compliment what Christine said. There is a standard rule in my house that either of us, my son is now 20 years old, and we have a standing rule that if either of us is not being mindful and not hearing the other person versus listening, then we're allowed to call each other out. And I think that solves a lot of our problems.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if I'm in a rush and he's saying something to me and I'm not hearing him, he's going to hold me down and say, you are not hearing me right now. Can you repeat what I said? And I do the same thing. And that has, over the years, solved a lot of our problems. And I'm a yoga practitioner, so I believe a lot in the present moment, and that's what I've taught him. But to complement what you're saying, yes, parents are on the road. They're going outside, making money, making ends meet. It's very hard for them to be present. But the little time that they have, if they were to make sure that they are emotionally present rather than physically present, it would solve a lot of the problems. What are some of the things that teens face today? I can list a multitude of them: depression, bullying, drug use, alcohol use, on-screen violence, social media, peer pressure, obesity, sexual activity. I mean, talk about it. Teens are exposed to all of these things every day. What is the most prevalent? As I coach children and I coach parents, the most prevalent is anxiety.
Yep.
And here's what I will say to that I'm on a public platform and I'm going to say this openly. Very often parents come to me and say, do you think, now I'm not a medical professional, and full disclaimer, I study behaviors. I have a doctorate in leadership and change with a focus on teenage behaviors. So I don't study medicine, but parents come and ask me, my child is 13 years old and is going through anxiety. Do you think it's okay to give them anti-anxiety pills? And my immediate reaction to that is, I'm not a medical professional, so please go to a doctor. But if you were to ask me, when you give a 13-year-old anti-anxiety pills, you're telling them, here's a magic pill. Don't ever face your emotions. Take this pill. Everything is going to be hunky-dory. And you've told that kid not to face their emotions for the rest of their lives. So that is the biggest issue that I see in children today, is anxiety. And that is due to, I mean, they're all interlinked, right? Peer pressure, bullying, on-screen media, the amount of violence they're seeing, the war, the pandemic. It's culmination of all issues. But the answer is not to give an anti-anxiety pill. The answer is to be present. And the more parents slow down and increase that presence with their children, the more they will be able to take away that anxiety. Why? Because, believe it or not, children need their parents as much or maybe more than a parent needs a child. And I think we often, as parents, forget that.
Yes, go ahead now. So I will go ahead and follow this up. 44% actually report depression and 37 report anxiety. But you have a 40 to 60% that actually report test anxiety. I fall in that category. And believe it or not, 90% are sleep deprived. So all of those add and contribute to the anxiety, the depression, and everything is happening. And can I just say, my kids, they were not dealing with what they're dealing with now. This is a totally different situation. So we don't even have a toolbox to go into and try to pull out the information to help them. We're just learning it too. And that is hard. And we just have to be respectful of that. So I'm glad you ladies have decided to say those things, right? Because here is where it all starts to go a little sideways, right? So House Republican funding bill kicks teachers out of classroom, takes away job opportunities, and harms women and children. They're talking about 220,000 teachers are going to be removed from the classroom. That is a problem. That's not what we're here to discuss. I said this is not a political conversation. This is talking about the policies that are coming through. The reason why it's not a political conversation is because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. Everybody's going to be impacted because of what they're telling you. Yeah. So this bill eliminates social emotional learning. So Dr. Yanadi, you just talked about the fact that we're given a magic pill instead of helping those students manage those behaviors, manage their emotions. It's okay to feel those big emotions. It's okay to be like, I hate you right now, right? It's okay to say, I am angry and I don't like what you're saying right now. But it's not okay to say, not okay to tell a child they're not allowed to express their feelings. Their feelings are not valid. And that when you feel them, to pop a pill, because we need to settle it down, make it monotone so that I can function, because the pill is given so the parents can function, not so the student can function. Let's be clear. And let me repeat it for the people in the back seat. When you give a child a pill,
you're making your life easier.
Emotion, you're making your life easier, not the child's life easier. Because now you have entered that student into the opportunity for them to no longer have the support when it comes to opioid addiction. One of the bills that is riding on this, they went into the Health and Human Services, and they're pulling out the help and the money for HIV, Healthy Start. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff they're chopping. Opioid is also being removed. Social emotional learning is being removed, or they're reducing it. So 28% reduction. So with all of these new things that are coming down, how do parents prepare for that? Because more doctors are going to push for to medicate our youth because they can't control. They're having a harder time trying to understand why their students are where they are, or why they're resistant to go to school and things like that. So instead of resolving the problem, they give them a pill. But what are some of the things that parents should look out for, prepare for, as we get ready to go into, this school year is not going to be impacted as much, but the next school year potentially will be. So what is your suggestion for parents now for that? Either one, it's okay.
I can go. I have lots of thoughts.
Look, Dr.
As you can see, my mind is blowing.
Yeah, which one do I talk about? I think that the public school system, for having been there for 30 years, is not for all children, first of all. So if you want to homeschool your children, there are more and more homeschools that help organizations to do that. I was just meeting with Kimberly the other day, so do connect with me. I'll connect you with her. But on the other hand, learning to self-regulate yourself as a parent and teaching it to your kids. So I'm almost completely done my snap, tap, zap technique, which is a self-regulating technique animated in 2D. And the teacher will only have to press play. You can do it 1 to 2 minutes every day to help your students' emotional quotient go up. I have used it with kids in my neighborhood and it works. I have seen a 3.5-year-old become more mature than her 7-year-old brother because we had worked together. And she was able to then go and say, yeah, you got mad outside because I was ready before you for the first time. And call him out on it, which is really good when a sibling can call another sibling out. And I loved what you said earlier, Dr. Nana.
Unnati.
It was beautiful because it is learning how to, if we can't regulate in our home and not be the trigger for our kids will trigger us always, but they're triggering us so that we can heal ourselves, so that we can find ways. I self-regulate every day, right? And every day since, okay, 2019, 2020, not before. I didn't know about it. There are many techniques that are complicated. And the reason why I needed to, compile techniques to make one that's super easy for kids and for teachers and administrators. We all have stress. And if we are not triggered by other stressors, like I still remember this student I had who loved rolling her eyes. I mean, it was her way of expressing herself. She wasn't allowed to say anything, but she'd roll her eyes. And some teachers would become livid, because she was rolling her eyes. She was just expressing her emotion. So how do you express your emotion in a safe way? Well, in Snap, Tap, Zap, it's exactly what I teach the children, to release those emotions that are bottled up inside of them. And then if you're not filling the cup over, that everything triggers you to overwhelm, if you're able to empty that cup so that when something happens, you're not instantly triggered like that, then it will be easier for you to manage those emotions as well. And of course, you need many mindset tools to help you along the way.
You were funny. So have you ever heard me say children are sent here? I think they go through orientation right before they exit. And I think before they exit the womb, because I sent my children eviction notices. It is time for you to exit the womb. I no longer wish to be your landlord. You have got to go, right? I don't know where you're going to go, but you have got to remove yourself from this apartment dwelling, because I have a studio apartment and it seems as though you got 5 people in there, right? Type of a thing. But I do believe they go through orientation before they come through, and they say, look, your parents, they are fallible, but we have to test them we have to improve their resilience, not yours. I believe that children know that they have to test their parents' resilience. And so I think that they're taught to push us all the way to the edge of the cliff. And right before we're just like, skip it, we're out, they yank you back and say, I love you, with those eyes like Puss in Boots. And then you wilt and want. And then you say, okay, I'll hang out here for a little bit longer and then we can make it work, right? Because they test every avenue that they have. And the reason why is because that's what they need for their life. And it's to improve our resilience as their caretaker for 18 years so that we can participate and contribute to what happens on the opposite side of 18. So
if I may, I always say, if a child is testing you, he or she is showing you they are smart. Mm-hmm. Be proud of them.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Okay, now you're going to see some passion coming out. So so this is right in time. I'm holding a boundaries workshop on January 16th at 6 p.m., which is boundaries and rules for teens, the most essential thing for a teen. Now, let's put that in the background. That complements what you just said, how important boundaries are. But here's what I'm going to say. Your child is a magnet. It's like a sponge. They're soaking in every action, every word of yours. The school system, they're spending 8 hours with the school, but the rest of the time they're spending at home in the environment, whether that's energetically, verbally, emotionally, physically. They're around you and they're taking all of that in. So if you're sitting on a couch eating potato chips and watching TV and expecting your child to go out and exercise, it ain't happening, bud. I'm sorry. They're not going to do it. Right? So if we want our children in the coming years to be the best version of themselves, then we have to work on ourselves as parents. Because what we are going to do is directly going to reflect on them. So they can learn all the techniques and everything they need to do at school, but they will come home and see that energy or see a parent who's not working on themselves. Good, bad, ugly, it is going to have an impact on them.
Yes, I believe that. And I think that, I'm not so I can't wait till you you see my new blog. At the end of the day, people, we're teacher number one. As a parent, we're teacher number one. Okay. So I don't understand where we got to the place where, I don't know, maybe it's just my perspective, where I noticed that we're disconnected so much from the school in a way that is harmful to our children. And understanding that we're teacher number one. We got the first 5 years of life, right? We got the first 5 years that we get to put into them, pour into them, figure out what we're doing, what we're not doing, how things are going, right? And then from there, then someone else will take over or add to it. So now so it's almost like you're at home and you're teaching them all the things that you know for 5 years, and then you send them to school. Go ahead.
Can I say something, Tabitha? We just need to, and I'm going to change that. You're talking about 5 years. I'm also going to add in here. And Christine, you said 18 years. I think Tabitha said, or Christine, one of you said 18 years. Here's what I'm going to say. It's actually about 24 to 25 years, then they need you.
I'm going to challenge you.
Yes, I want you to challenge me, but I'm going to challenge you back. Why? Because they need you differently. Because
Yeah.
can you imagine when a child is stepping out of college and entering into the workforce and going in between people, they have no idea of what they're doing, how they should believe, how they should create relationship, now work relationships, what careers they should take, how do they respond to a boss, how do they interact with colleagues, is networking good, is networking not good, what am I going to wear to work today, how am I going to show up, do I need to stay late or not stay late? These are multitude of questions. It's just that we've legally termed 18 as a legal age. Sure, in 21 drinking age. The other day, my son asked me, why is 21 such a big deal? I said, because you can have a drink, nothing else. So, really? So
I like that answer.
really, yeah, he said, I can just go to a bar, right? Otherwise, you allow me to do everything else. I said, yes, you can go to a bar. So really, they need you up until 24, 25. And how can I say this? Because I coach, my demographic is up till 26, 27 and parents. So I study Gen Z behaviors, and the oldest of them is 26 at this moment. But when these kids come to me, I see how lost they are. And if a parent was strong enough at home and is able to be present with their children, they can tackle a whole lot of these problems. And these kids can come out on the other side completely empowered. So, yes, sorry, Tabitha. I just had to say this.
So the reason why I say I challenge it. So here's the thing. This is just the way I view things, right? First 5 years before I say 5 years. So 5 years is the marker where they say that's where the personality is pretty much set for for their life, right? You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen and what's not going to happen, right? With them, you kind of figure out what their personality is. Then they go into school, and then so my mom used to say, well, I cannot stand kids, right? And I was like, and when she said what, I'm young, and she said it the first time, I was like, ha, 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 ha. Right. Yeah. And then she said it again a few times. I can't stand kids. And I was like, you do recognize there's three of us, right? Because I was like, wait, how do you dislike kids, but there's three of us? But it wasn't that. It was the fact that when we went into school, we took on a different personality. We did a lot of things that were slightly different, that was outside of what my mom had taught us. And so other children's influence is what she disliked. The influence that was happening when we would go to school, we would come home and try things, right? So in my household, you couldn't talk back to your parents. Interesting. But then I see somebody else talking about to their parents, and then you say, should I try that? Do I want to take my life into my own hands? Is exactly what it's gonna happen. And sometimes you try
it, right?
And then sometimes we try it, right? So we do that. And that's where she was. So up until the age of 18, the legal age of saying, I no longer am responsible for financially taking care of you, and you can go out and try your life for yourself. But there's an additional, those until 25, you're pretty much riding on our coattails, right? For support. And because not very many, there are some that actually break out and they hit the ground running and poof, they go to the stars. But then there are others, for mostly the average number of them, they kind of hang out around the family, kind of hovering and buzzing up until they're 25 because they still haven't figured it out. And sometimes till the age of 30. Yeah. The reason why I say I'm going to challenge you is because 25 says, okay, I have full control over my brain to a certain degree, right? Your frontal lobe is closed. You're making more sound decisions. Things are making more sense for how you're going to proceed in your life. That's kind of how I look at it at 25. But then I find myself, even being 26, I'm still calling home, right? I'm still looking for that support and stuff from home. So I kind of figure that we're community. We create families. We create families to build out the support that we need for our community. And so some of us have one child, others have two or more, things like that. But they're building out a community specific. So I want to say that the need for human beings and connection exists all the way until you take your final rest, right?
Yeah.
Your parents, you need your parents, or it is important to have your parents influencing your life for many years of your life, only if, here is a caveat, only if
Yes.
the relationship that you have with your family, especially your parents, is a healthy one and
Yep.
one that does nothing but support you in your growth. Okay. That's kind of how I look at it. But I'm a firm believer that home is parent one, school is parent two, the community is
Yeah.
the bonus parent. And when you learn how to parent with your co-parenting partner, you will have an extremely well-balanced child. And that is what my goal is, to help support those families, because there are a lot of single parents out here, male and female, who are raising their children for various reasons, but because they can't lift their head up long enough to identify the solutions that are available to them, they struggle in silence. And I'm here to say, you're not alone. We're here to help you. We want to support you. So if you know somebody who needs a little bit more help, need help with their preteens, I know somebody. You need help with the teens, I know somebody. You need help figuring out your solutions in your schools, I know somebody, right? I feel like it's better for us to kind of address this and get this out in the open. Yes, 18 years, I believe that, but you'll need them for life. And I told my son, actually this week, I will not be here. I potentially will not be here for the rest of your life, but you will be here for the rest of mine. And as I was raising my children, I was raising them to live without me. But one thing I have to say to parents, you have to prepare yourself to live without them.
Yep.
Because their wings should not be clipped, because our fear is greater than their journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a story I
And-
can share on that if you want.
Yeah.
In a community that I used to live in, this mom didn't want her daughter to go way off to Quebec City. It was too far. And after a semester, the daughter finally decided, okay, I'll come back home and I'll go to this other university that's only a half-hour drive away. So she came back home and within a month had an accident and passed away. So I think it's so important. And to me, that was a huge lesson. It was like, Christine, wake up, let your kids be themselves. It's so, so important that we let them. How can we love them and support them? So what I did when that transition was happening in 2019, 2020, right? Because I wasn't that kind of parent before, I'll be honest. I have done a lot of personal growth since 2019 and learning to calm my amygdala down so that I can get out of fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode and be in my prefrontal cortex and use the smarts that I have instead of all the trauma that I had, or the fear, or these emotions, feelings, thoughts, and beliefs that were guiding my life had to leave so that I could just be me. And so what I did was, when I would listen, I would use the technique to calm my amygdala down. But at the same time, I would be looking for proof of something that my daughter or my son had done that I was proud of them for. And I would name it. It doesn't need to be a big thing.
yeah.
It can be just a tiny thing, but they need to hear us say, I am so proud of you, because it raises their self-esteem, their confidence, and they become, as my daughter said to me, she called me so excited. She says, Mom, I think it's okay on this show to say this, I've got balls of steel. I showed that human resource person, at 22, 23, she stepped into her truth, her strength, and she told him what she would accept going back to work in order for it to work, and found another job.
More power to her.
Yeah.
Good job.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You had a story too?
No, I wanted to say something, but I lost my train of thought because I got caught up in the excitement 22. But I wanted to compliment something that you were saying, which came to my mind. What did you say about before you shared the thing about your
Parent
daughter?
one, the difference between the parents, parent one, parent two, and the bonus parent.
No, I've lost my train of thought.
That's
Never
okay.
mind. It'll come back. It'll come back.
We'll circle back. My thing is this. So I really like what you two offered today, as far as what we have in front of us. I want to ask the question because of the bill that that we were just talking about. I would like to ask. So for school board members, okay, I think that I haven't wavered on it. I believe that it should be parents on the school board. I don't think it should be
Absolutely.
business owners. I think it should be parents. And I think that there
Absolutely.
should be a requirement for them to come on to the school board. And I believe that the only way we can see a difference in education is when the parents take control over what they want to see.
Yep.
For the outcome. And so because looking at this, what's happening, and then paying attention over the last 7 years or more of what's been going on in education, I want to ask your opinion as far as the school boards are concerned, because here in Houston, they just took over, the state took over the school district, one of the largest school districts here in Texas, because they were failing so badly. And it's taken them so long to take over. And it's a mixed bag, right? You got the ones in the district that are more a part of the more affluent school, more of the side that's more affluent, right? They have a Olympic-sized swimming pool. They have activities. They got nice grounds, all these things, right? And then you have the lower income Title I, Title II schools who are potentially not doing as well. They're barely getting their landscaping. Their teachers are not doing so well, just different things like that. But the decisions that are being made from a business standpoint, and more for the business and less for the student.
Wellness of the school students.
So please share, what your thoughts are around that, because I've just been kicking that around in my own head, but I think that this will change how schools are seen if we can make this change.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Parents should be on the board. And I think it's very imperative also for the parents to be interviewed to the type of parents who need to be on the board. Parents who have taken their own self journey, who have gone deep within themselves and are not judging the kids only on academics and not creating holistic individuals. I think it's very important for parents to be on the board to decide. They should be given the voice to decide what their child's future is going to look like. So I totally agree with you on that one.
I love what you say, Dr. Unadi, about their own inner journey.
Yes.
Because if yes, it's a company, it's a business, but here in the province of Quebec, the Ministry of Education quite a few years ago downsized the school board offices because too much money coming from the government was being spent on the infrastructure and so on. And I actually have a cousin in economics, and she's like, why do you need a school board? What does that bring? I can also say, having been in a school where a principal is not able to wear their own pants, it is a huge issue.
It's a huge issue.
So, there's
you
pros.
need to choose wisely.
Yes. And a board, yes, needs parents, but parents who have gone an inner journey will, and business people who have done an inner journey, because you need the business aspect in there, but it can't take over.
Right.
It can't take over.
There has to be a balance.
Yes. And somebody who has emotional intelligence needs to be in there. It can't just be intellectual intelligence. You need to marry the different types of intelligences. I met a teacher at one point, and he says, Christine, we have 11 different intelligences. And in the school as a teacher, we use 1 or 2. What do you do with the rest of the kids that learn the other way? They're not taken into consideration. So in a school board, in my opinion, you need a balance of people who have gone through experiences so they have inner knowledge, so they can speak from experience. But you need the emotional and the intellectual intelligence. You need the spatial intelligence. You need, different personality types. It can't be a clique of friends.
Correct.
Right?
That's what's happening right now. There's a clique of friends that are causing all of these problems. But here's my thing. When you go look at the board, the people who are pushing out some of the changes are not parents. They're not now parents, right? That's my issue. They're not now parents. They are later parents, right? Those are the parents that have already done it. Because again, could I go in to be a school board official today? Absolutely. You know why? Because I am immersed into this space, it's not about me. That's the one thing I feel like for me, when I entered into business, it was, people are like, what's in it for them? What?
This is a school we're talking about.
This is not. What do you mean? What's in it for the students? No. What's in it for the principal? What's in it for the administrator? What's in it for the teacher? How about an easier job? How about do your job? It's not about you. But
you shouldn't have chosen that job. If it's about you, then you shouldn't be in the school district. It's very simple. Go find yourself another job.
And that's what the problem is. But here's the thing. When we come and take a look at it, what are we doing to not have people in a position to actually be in control of our children's destiny? So when I send my kid into school, my expectation is that you will teach them what I am not able to. You are doing for them what your side of the fence is that you're supposed to do for them. And then I can come back and validate the teachings, confirm, and implement as we go along to grow, right? But what's happening for a lot of cases is that my expectations are 100% not being met. And that becomes a problem for me, because now I'm saying I send my kid in and my kid comes back to me crying and broken and in worse condition in some cases than when I put him in there.
Yeah.
And, because there's lots of different things, and this year of conversation with this is going to be a significant one, because we only did a quarter. We only did like 20 of these last year, but this year we're going to do like pretty much the whole year. And because you said it at the very onset, there's so many opportunities and challenges in front of us. We have to be willing to make the decision on which ones we're going to go and resolve. But we have to be strategic in what's happening, because right now it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I want things to be different. Yes, very, very broken. So we know what we're solving for. So as we go ahead and wrap up, I will say, let's see, I don't know what side I'm going to send you on, but I don't know. Let's hope this works. I just click buttons back here. We'll see. So as we go ahead and close out, we're getting ready to close out. We got a few more minutes. So if you can just take a few minutes and just tell everybody how to find you, who you're looking for, and final thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and close out. Let's go, Doctor. We'll go your way.
All right.
Okay, I don't know what's happening on my side. It's just not. So I think I'm just going to leave it.
Good. 3 of us. We're looking good. 3 of us in a row. We're good. Don't worry about it. All right. So I am a youth behavior change specialist, and I'm a parent teen coach, and I study behaviors. So if you're a parent, an educator, or anybody who is dealing with youth in any form, you could be in a youth foundation, you could be in an organization, and you're looking to coach teens, please reach out to me. If you're a parent, please reach out to me. If you're looking for a keynote speaker in schools and colleges, reach out to me. I do multiple workshops on multiple topics in schools and colleges addressing youth. My website is, as you can see next to my name, it's genzendyou.com. You can you have all my details there. You can there is a free consultation out there. You can click on the button and schedule a free consultation with me. Send me an email through that, and I will be happy to assist you in any way that I can. And hear my TED Talk. I'm also an author and I'm a TEDx speaker. If you go onto my website, you can see my TEDx talk and you can see my book. And stay tuned for a second book coming out this year, hopefully.
Hopefully, not hopefully. It's coming out. It's coming out next
coming
year.
Out. It's coming out. It's coming out this year, not next year. This year.
This year, coming out this year. Look at that.
It's on my vision board behind me.
We're roaring into 2024, yo. By the way, I cannot impress upon you enough how much I love the name of your company, Gen Z and You. Because I watched something. I was listening to this girl and she was like, "You guys are so out of touch." No. I'm pretty sure you guys got and went flying away. So that's a totally different experience. So it's all good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Christine.
Ooh. So it's my turn. So if you're a parent or an educator that is dealing with trying to manage the daily stressors that your children today are facing, and you're looking for easy tricks and tips and techniques to support you. If you're a teacher, especially right now, I'm almost done the snap, tap, zap, where you just want to press play for 1 minute when your kids come in after recess, after lunch, so that they calm down their amygdalas, their survival mode, so that they can be present in the moment. I will be excited to support you. It's super easy. I do also one-on-one coaching with parents and teachers. And I'm also preparing a retreat for this summer in the beautiful, magnificent National Park of Mount Orford. Who needs 5 days to just recharge, renew themselves this summer in my presence? In a national park. I mean, how much more
better can this get now?
Yeah. So ChristineBerna.com. I think most of my information is there. You can email me at Christine@ChristineBerna.com and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, etc.
I'm on LinkedIn. Thank you, Christine. You're funny. And thank you for pronouncing your last name, because I would just look at that and say, I know.
I know.
We're not trying to mess that up.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's me, Tabitha. You can always reach me on LinkedIn. I took a little bit of a break over the holiday, but as you can tell, I'm starting to run my way back. So if you feel like you too would like to join our panel for a conversation, feel free to direct message me and we'll get you on a calendar. As I always say, at the end of the day, we're not here to chastise or crucify any one person or any group of people. Teachers are wonderful, wonderful partners in raising children. Principals are we're just going to say the ringleaders of it all, because they're the ones on the campuses. But at the end of the day, what's in it for you is to actually see your gift being utilized in the best possible light that is a child's life as an adult. So as I always say, as we end all of our conversation, oh Lord, why are you in my way? This thing shows up. Words are power. Remember to use them wisely. Until next time. Thank you for your time today. We appreciate the support and look forward to you visiting us again next week. Same time, same place. Until then, words are power. Please remember to use them wisely. If you have an interest or like to be on our live show, please let us know and send us a direct message.